Hello everyone, Sam here. I hope you guys are all well. Welcome to this bonus session this week, just carrying on the theme of the challenge, just a couple more days, where we're going to be talking tonight about Chywanprash. So hello everyone who's logging in. Everyone hear me okay? Hopefully I'm coming through nice and clear. Someone give me a quick thumbs up or a quick something just to let me know reception is good. Reception good? Great, thank you. So you remember, I think it was on Tuesday last week. Hi Jenny, hi Nicole, thank you. Hi Tamara. On Tuesday, I think it was, we spoke about herbal medicines, and we spoke about the ashwagandha and the mood milk and everything else. But we didn't get to cover Chywanprash because it overran and there was lots of questions, which is what we wanted. So we didn't get to talk about Chywanprash. So I just wanted to do a bit of an extra session tonight just to talk about it, because it is an important one. It's one of the most revered and powerful tonic preparations in the whole of Ayurveda, and it's a herbal remedy, herbal medicine that I wouldn't be without. You know, we go through loads of it. Holly and I use it every day. The kids use it every day in porridge and smoothies. So it's a really great one to know about. But before I get into that, I just want to say another very sincere thank you to you guys for all of your effort, and the energy that you brought to the challenge last week was just mind-blowing, and it was such a privilege to be a part of it. And you know, we're really, really grateful. I hope that most of you have tried to continue, I suppose, to embed some of the rituals we spoke about, you know, the pranayama or the silence or the gratitude or whatever it is. I hope you've managed to continue it, a little bit without creating any problems or whatever. Some of you may know, we've opened up the doors to the Ayurvedic Mentor, which is our self-care platform. You know, if you're looking, it would be so amazing if for you guys, if you're looking to continue your journey into Ayurveda, if you're looking to learn more about it and herbal medicine and empowerment and disease prevention and health optimization and meal plans, the full package. It'd be such a privilege to welcome you guys into the Mentor. All the energy and inspiration you brought to this challenge, having that in the Mentor would just be manna from heaven for us in the community. So the doors to the Mentor are open until Sunday. We close it on Sunday because on the following week, next week, we're starting the first episodes of the full Swastika series. So obviously last week's challenge, we kind of gave you these amazing 5 contentment rituals. But in essence, that's just scratched the surface. There's so much more to Swastika. There's so much more to cultivating contentment. There's a whole framework, and it's that full framework, that 3,000-year-old framework that we'll be dissecting and discussing in detail as of next week. So if you're looking to continue the journey, it'll be a privilege to welcome you into the group. Brilliant, Nicole. I do all of them. That's amazing that you guys are continuing that. So really well done. So this week, like I said, the challenge week, we always continue content into the week after the challenge. So we've got the Chywanprash tonight. On Wednesday evening, we're going to do a really great weekly wisdom. So every week in the Ayurvedic Mentor, we do a live session where it's interactive and we pick a topic. And we're going to do one of those on here for free on Wednesday because we've got a great topic. And on Saturday, we've got a brilliant Ayurvedic closing ceremony, a fire ceremony, which you just need a candle or something like an open fire or something like that, which is so-called a puja, a kind of a manifestation transformation ceremony. We're going to be doing that live on Saturday on this platform. We've done them before. We've used them for years in person. We've used them for years online, and it's a brilliant way of kind of ending one area and opening up a new one. And it'd be a great thing. It brings a lot of energy. It's a very powerful ceremony. So we'll be releasing more information about that. So there's more content on Wednesday. There's more content on Saturday, and then we kick off the full series on the Ayurvedic Mentor on the following week. Okay, so Chywanprash. So why did we choose to include Chywanprash in this challenge? We spoke about ashwagandha and the mood milk and that, those bits and pieces. And the reason that we chose to include Chywanprash is because we couldn't not. Okay, we couldn't not talk about it because, like I said, it's kind of one of the most revered one of the most famous and revered tonic herbal medicines in the whole of Ayurveda. It's got such a incredibly long history of use. It goes right back thousands and thousands of years. And Chywanprash is something that's labeled as a rasanyana. A rasanyana conceptually translates from the Sanskrit is that which destroys aging and disease. That which destroys aging and disease. So rasanyanas are tonic preparations that increase energy, they increase immunity, they protect us from stress and anxiety, they protect against disease, they stimulate longevity, they reduce free radical damage, they're antioxidants. They've just got, to be a rasanyana, you've got to tick all of these boxes. Okay, and Chywanprash is one of the most powerful rasanyanas, and the key thing about Chywanprash is that it's not a herbal medicine, it's a formulation. Okay, so Chywanprash has between about 45 and 52 different herbs in it. Okay, depending upon the make and where it comes from. So it's not an individual herb. Ashwagandha is a root. Echinacea is a root. Ginseng is a root. Chamomile is a flower. They're individual plants. Chywanprash isn't a herbal medicine, it's a herbal formulation. So it's made up of a combination of different herbs. And what makes it so powerful is that 50% of Chywanprash by volume is made up of an individual herbal medicine called Amalaki, or Indian gooseberry. And the reason that's important is that Amalaki contains more vitamin C and more vitamins and more antioxidants than any other fruit or vegetable on the planet by about tenfold. So if you look at a blueberry, you look at a pound of blueberries, or 10 grams, whatever, or any given weight of blueberries, and you compare it to an equal weight of Amalaki berries, it's tenfold more vitamins and antioxidants. So because of that, it's a powerful immune stimulant. It's clinically proven. It's clinically proven to prevent infections. It's clinically proven to increase our immune counts. It's antibacterial. It's antiviral. It's got very, very clinically proven, very significant anti-cancer benefits. It's got anti-cancer benefits. It's been shown to reduce the proliferation of cancer cells. It's been shown to inhibit the mutation of cells. It's got, we use it week in, week out in clinic for those managing cancer, those who are in remission, those who've had recurrence. Anyone on the cancer spectrum, Amalaki is really, really important. So it's a lung tonic. It's brilliant for clearing out mucus. It's a decongestant. It's an expectorant. So it's kind of like a whole body immune tonic that protects against infections and diseases and cancers and things like that. It's also, but the reason we chose to speak about it in this challenge has obviously all been about contentment. It's been about emotional well-being. It's been about happiness and joy and gratitude. So the reason that we've chosen to include Chywanprash in it is because of the mood and emotion enhancing benefits of Chywanprash, okay? Because it has a very, very profound effect upon our neurotransmitters, upon our brain chemicals. And there's very, very clear evidence that Chywanprash, one, it buffers us against stress and anxiety. And that's really important because stress and anxiety is what reduces our contentment. It reduces our sense of peace and happiness. So anything that buffers against those states is going to naturally help elevate our contentment. But it's not just about protecting against the bad. The key reason that Chywanprash is so brilliant in the context of swastha, in the context of contentment, is that it is proven to elevate mood. There is rigorous, compelling evidence to show that the chemicals, and particularly the neuromodulating chemicals found in Chywanprash, they elevate mood. They increase the secretion of our neurotransmitters, our neurochemicals, our hormones that make our body and our mind, our whole being, happier, more energized, more vital, and more content. Okay, and that's been used in Ayurveda for thousands of years, but there's this really strong Western evidence to support that. So it's this double whammy where you've got, on the one hand, the ability to reduce stress and anxiety and overwhelm and depression, which makes us feel better. And at the same time, you've got the compounds that are actually elevating mood. So you've got less of the bad stuff and more of the good stuff. And that is a very, very unique and a very, very powerful combination of chemical constituents to support the cultivation of happiness and contentment and optimal mood. And I think in the context of this challenge, in the context of big gains for very little effort, Chywanprash is out on its own, because it has, it's not just giving you that benefit. I want to talk about some of the other benefits that Chywanprash gives, because we've spoken about its immune strengthening benefits, we've spoken about its anti-cancer benefits, we've spoken about its mood elevating benefits, but there's also lots of other things that make it so important for us to, one, be aware of, and two, to really consider buying, and to, once we've bought it, to really comply with using it on a daily basis. And one of the first reasons is gut health, okay? And the second reason is linked with Alzheimer's disease prevention. And I'll talk about those individually, because gut health, you'll remember from, I think, the second day of the challenge last week, for our body to be healthy, our gut needs to be healthy. Okay, we know that a toxic gut, a dysfunctional gut, is linked to virtually every disease in the book. We know it reduces the secretion of our feel-good hormones, our serotonin, our dopamine, which means our mood drops. But if our gut is healthy, if our digestion is strong, if our gut is healthy, we digest food more effectively, we extract more nutrients from the food we eat, we secrete more dopamine, more serotonin, which elevates our mood. A healthy gut equals a healthy body and a healthy mind. Chywanprash, because it contains so many individual herbal compounds, is, one, brilliant for supporting digestion, but two, it is phenomenally effective as a detoxifying agent. Chywanprash helps to keep the gut clean. It helps facilitate the removal of toxins from the gut, something called dysbiosis. It facilitates the proliferation of good bacteria in the gut. It strengthens the microbiome. So it's a all-in-one gut tonifying, gut strengthening tonic, which by default keeps the body strong, keeps the immune system strong, keeps our inflammatory markers down, and elevates our mood. Okay, it supports the liver as an organ of detoxification. It supports the kidneys, it supports the spleen. It pretty much affects every organ of the body within reason. But one of the things that's really put Chywanprash on the map in the Western context in the last 5 or 6 years is that there's been a lot of public health research into why Sri Lanka and rural India have incredibly low levels of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Their levels of Alzheimer and dementia are disproportionately low compared to what they should be in comparison to America or Canada or Britain or Australia, other Western countries. And there's been a lot of research trying to work out why. What is it? What are these rural communities doing in Asia, in Sri Lanka and India, that could be responsible for a clinically significantly lower level of Alzheimer's and dementia? And they've teased apart loads of things, but one of the key ones that seems to be most fruitful, most evidence-based, and most significant is that those communities consume a very high level of amalaki and a very high level of Chywanprash. So the researchers have teased apart the makeup of Chywanprash, the makeup of amalaki, which makes up Chywanprash, to try and work out, well, why? What are the protective benefits or the possible protective benefits of Chywanprash on brain health, on neurodegeneration? And a phenomenally exciting area of new research has kind of emerged almost by accident from this research, which shows that Chywanprash and amalaki, so amalaki, remember amalaki is 50% of Chywanprash, contains, I think officially, the highest natural level of something called procholeogenic compound. Procholeogenic compound. And procholeogenic compound is a neurochemical that piggybacks memories. Okay, so if you think, where did I leave my keys? For us to actually have an answer to that, our neurons have to fire. A thought has to travel through the neural network. It has to jump synaptic gaps. And when we think, where is my keys, and you can't remember it, when we've got Alzheimer's and dementia and the brain isn't working properly, one of the key reasons is because the memory can't travel along the neural pathways. It can't reach fruition, so we can't remember things, okay? Procholeogenic compound allows, so you imagine that this is kind of a memory, okay? The memory has got to jump the synaptic gap in the brain, in the nervous system. the memory sits on top of the cholinogenic compound, and that carries it along. So even if the memory is failing, even if brain function is failing, if we've got a high level of pro-cholinogenic compound in the brain, it allows the brain to carry memories so that we can recall things more effectively, because we've got the ability to carry a memory across the synaptic gaps. So the research shows that the higher the level of pro-cholinogenic compound in the brain, the lower the chances of dementia and Alzheimer's. And when we do get it, it's at a lower severity and a slower rate of progression. And that's not the only thing that's going to be responsible for this evidence, but it's believed to be a key reason why there's such a low level of Alzheimer's and dementia in these rural communities in India and Sri Lanka, because the level of pro-cholinogenic compound in their brain is incredibly high because of a high consumption of Chywanprash and Amalaki. And given that Alzheimer's disease, I think is currently, or is going to be, the biggest killer in Britain and the Western world. It's outstripping cardiovascular disease, heart disease, cancers. I think Alzheimer's disease is probably one of the biggest public health, time bombs that we're facing in the West, because it's a very difficult thing to manage. So treatment is essential, but prevention becomes even more important. And if we can up our pro-cholinogenic levels in the brain, the evidence is absolutely clear that that's going to help the brain facilitate recall, to prevent the formation of amyloid plaque, which is responsible for things like Alzheimer's, which will help to increase neurological function. Bev, that's my next point. Does it still help if we experience poor memory over the decades? That's the key thing, is that it's a dose response. So if you start upping pro-cholinogenic compound when recall has already deteriorated, it will still bump that back up. Whether it will bump it back up to what it was 10 years ago is still up for debate, but it has the capacity to regress damage. And we've seen that in post-chemotherapy patients. Your chemotherapy can cause something that's colloquially referred to as brain fog, or chemo brain, where you can't recall things, you feel foggy and fuzzy. And we've seen first-hand experience that Chywanprash helps to alleviate the severity of that fogginess. Okay, so I think it's helpful. What I'm not saying is if someone's got advanced Alzheimer's, it's going to cure them. Obviously, what I am saying is that the evidence suggests it has the capacity to prevent and slow down the development and progression of those kinds of neurodegenerative conditions. Okay, so that's for me, that's maybe one of the biggest motivators for taking it regularly, because, as we're all living longer, the risk of these kinds of problems is increasing exponentially. And actually, those of you, I know loads of you have signed up to the Ayurvedic Mentor. If you have signed up to the Ayurvedic Mentor, check out the Human Longevity series, because in there we talk about the cutting edge science of human longevity and how we can maximize not just the number of years we live, but the number of healthy years we live. Because there's no point reaching 100 if we're racked with chronic illnesses that reduce our quality of life. We've got to have both. And doing things that are evidence-based in terms of the suppression of problems like Alzheimer's and dementia, I think is absolutely key. Okay, so in terms of the Chywanprash dose, the dose is small. Maybe 1 to 2 teaspoons a day. It's brilliant for everyone. It's incredibly safe. All 3 of our kids have it pretty much every day through winter. They have it in porridge. They have it in smoothies. They don't know they're having it. Well, actually, one of our 3 actually likes it. The other 2 not so keen. But it's, we put it into loads of things. Holly and I have 1 to 2 teaspoons every day. It's just it's a no-brainer, because sometimes you find these tonics that affect virtually every organ system in the body, and Chywanprash is one of those. Okay, so I'm not saying everyone needs to go out and buy it, but I think it's well worth considering in the context of the challenge. Contentment, mood, happiness, swastha, in the contentment of keeping our body strong, in terms of reducing risk factors for the things that are most likely to kill us: heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's. Okay, so it really is a really brilliant tonic. Karen, I love the longevity series. It's so interesting. I think the longevity series is one of my favorite series on the Ayurvedic Mentor, because I think it provides a real practical evidence-based framework for what the most recent evidence shows we can do to maximize our genetic ability to reach 90, 95, 100 in good independent health. And the research around that is compelling. So So I hope that's been helpful, because we have had a lot of questions about Chywanprash. So if if you're umming and ahhing about getting it or using it, then I would absolutely say, just do it, because it depends on who you buy it from, but they're usually about £15 for a jar. That jar lasts for ages because you only need such a small amount, and you're getting these exponential gains. And if you add into that things like the ashwagandha, things like the nutmeg, things like the cinnamon or the mood milk, suddenly you're getting these exponential gains where it's almost like the straw that breaks the camel's back. You add in one more thing and suddenly your energy, your vitality, your oomph just increases, because your body's got the chemical support to facilitate that. So yeah, the Ayurvedic Pura one is also very, very good. That one's brilliant, very, very good. Essential Ayurveda is very, very good. Dina, yeah, so a recommended source. So either Ayurveda Pura from the comment above you by Jenny, or Essential Ayurveda, and there's a web link for that in the workbook that you would have got as part of the challenge, or if you just Google Essential Ayurveda. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. So next week, when we kick off the full Swastika series in the Ayurvedic Mentor, we're kicking off with something called Ojas. So Ojas is the Ayurvedic concept of, physical and energy, physical and emotional energy, vitality, vigor, strength. And we're looking at things like diet, herbal medicines, routines, and sleep as an evidence-based framework for increasing the physical health of the body. Because you remember right at the start of the challenge, we said to increase contentment, we need to target the physical body, the emotional, the mind, the mind and emotional body, and the energetic body. And if you miss one out, then you leave the window open to not being at optimal capacity. So we're going to start off with the physical, then we're going to address the emotional, and then we're going to address the energetic side. So there's lots. We're going to be taking this and teasing this apart in much more detail next week. I know most of the names I'm looking at here have already signed up, so you'll be getting all of this. But you've still got a few more days to register if you haven't already done so. We'd love to see you there. I'll be back on Wednesday for a weekly wisdom on the challenge Facebook page, and we'll let you know on Wednesday morning what that's going to be about. And then we've got the closing ceremony on Saturday, because on Saturday we'll archive this Facebook group. Okay, we won't be moderating this one because we're putting all of our attention on the mentor. So we'll be closing this down on Saturday, but the closing ceremony will be brilliant. Okay, so we'll release more information about that later in the week as well. But other than that, I hope you all got to watch Bojo's news, the COVID update, and I hope everyone's. That's worked for everyone. I hope everyone's kind of got something good out of that. I didn't really get a chance to watch too much of it because I had 3 kids hanging off me. But anyway, that's all good. Jenny, if you could recommend a book on if I had to recommend one book on Ayurveda to really kickstart the journey, it would be something called Perfect Health by Deepak Chopra. Okay, Perfect Health. But if you get it, make sure you buy the most recent edition, which I think is 2016. Because it's been continuously published since 1987 or something, but it's the seminal text on introducing the really core foundational components of Ayurveda in a very authentic way, but in a way that is structured for Westerners. Okay, it's brilliant. Karen, I don't watch the news. That's a really sensible thing to do. I don't usually, it's only because we had to move the time of this talk because he was on. So yeah, Jenny, I would check out Perfect Health. It's really, really good. So have a lovely evening, everyone. Tomorrow, 5-kilometer restrictions in Ireland till Easter. Tomorrow, I thought you were in Austria, or have I got that completely wrong? That you're in Ireland, not in Austria. Maybe I'm really confused by that. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, maybe. But anyway, I'm waffling. Okay, well, have a lovely evening, everyone. I'd love to see so many faces and names up on the screen. I hope everyone is well. I hope, raved about him. Yeah, so he's brilliant. Okay. So I hope you're continuing with the rituals. Try and keep those rituals going. Take charge of our health, particularly our mental health at the moment. Continue with the rituals. I'll see you on Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing a lot of you who are already signed up. No flights back. Okay. In the mentor soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.